Lord Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous, that's me, the Warriors of Chaos, versus General Disarray of the Empire. That's right, my usual ogre opponent, Fatty Back. He is playing a Empire army now. He's got a new army, and he brought it up to the store and wanted to try it out. So I had to oblige him. I played him with my Shiloh 2014 army list because as of this report, it is less than a week away, and so I need all the practice I can get with it. Trust me. Well, here it is. If you've seen the last dozen or so of my battle reports, you've seen this list. My general is a Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous, with the Marquezine. She's level 3 Wizard, Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, other tricks of shards, Soul Feeder, Scale Skin, Flame Breath, Laura Metal. My hero choices consist of my Exalted Hero, Catalyst, the Keeper of the Colors, with the Marquezine, BSB, Halberds, Chaos Steed, Helm of Many Eyes, and the Dawnstone. I have another Exalted Hero, Berserk. He's got the Markhorn, Extra Hand Weapon, Luckstone, Dragon Helm, and the Crown of Command. Last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary Chaos. He's got the Marquezine, she's level 2 Wizard, he's on a Demonic Mount, Pack Hog. He's got the Warrior Bane, Enchanted Shield, Skull of Catan, Talisman of Protection, and uses Laura Zinch. My core choices are 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide, with the Mark of Corn, Full Command, Halberds, and Banner of Fury. And of course my Chariot, the Vessel of Change, with the Mark of Zinch. My special choice are 5 Chaos Knights with the Teeth of Zinch, with Mark of Zinch and Source of Weapons, Banner Musician, and a Standard of Discipline. My rare choices consist of 3 Skull Crushers, Corn's Wrath, with Banner Musician, Lances, and a Banner of Swiftness. And of course, the one, the only, the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list, I have no idea what the hell he had. I forgot to take a picture of his list at the end of our game. When I finally did remember, he was running out the door because him and his buddies were going to go off and do some buddy stuff. And yeah, so it's a very, very vague list that I have for you here because it's all from memory and I'm not overly familiar with the Empire. So he had a General of the Empire as his general. I think he had the Armor of Destiny on, maybe a shield. I know he was strength 4. So yeah, I have no idea what he had. He had a Battle Wizard Lord who was a level 4. I think he had a Dispel Scroll. And he used Laura's Shadow. Not 100% on that. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. But I don't remember what he had. I'm sure he had some sort of ward save on this guy or whatever. I really, really don't know. His hero choices, I know he had a Battle Wizard who was a level 2 Wizard with the item of Identity Theft. That item that in a challenge you swap stats with the guy and get your butt handed to you. He used the Laura Fire, and I don't remember if he had anything else. He had a Warrior Priest. I have no idea what, if anything, that guy had, and you'll see why. He had a second Warrior Priest, same thing. No idea if this guy had anything. He had a Captain of the Empire who was his BSB, maybe the Armor of Fortune. I vaguely remember a 5-up ward. And he had a Master Engineer. And I think this guy might have been naked. He just had him because he had a couple of War Machines. But I really don't think he had anything. His core consisted of 50 halberdiers, painted by my wife, no less. So yeah, if you like the halberdiers, let me know. Maybe she could hook you up and paint something for you. For a price. We don't do this stuff for free. They had full command. They had a magic banner, I think. I don't remember what it was. And he had a detachment of 14 crossbowmen. He had a unit of 10 knights, inner circle knights. They had the full command and the Razor Standard. I do remember that. His special choices were 30 Great Swordsmen with full command, and I think they had a magic banner. I don't recall. You'll see why. And he had a Great Cannon. His rare choices were a Hellblaster Volley Gun, and those things are the bane of my existence, and a Celestial Hurricanum, which I really like. The model is badass, and the rules for it are badass, so I really like that thing. So it was cool. It was cool to see him that he had it. Here are my spells: 3 from Metal, 2 from Zinch, 1 from the Beast. And here are his spells: 4 from Shadow, 2 from Fire, and a bunch of prayers and Hurricanum stuff. Here's deployment. It's been a while since I've seen anything Empire-esque, So I just kind of moved from the left to the right. I saw where he put his big unit of halberdiers. I knew the hill is where his war machines were going to go. So I put the dogs out there. I put the, for him to shoot at something. I put the warriors near there to deal with the halberdiers. The chariot was either going to go into the swordsmen or halberdiers because he had no business dealing with the, what's it called, inner circle knights. My knights and my demon prince were near the forest because I was going to try to get his knights to charge me in the forest. The beast was going to use the forest kind of like a shield, as well as the skull crushers because I know his cannon wanted to shoot at him. Here's my opponent's center from left to right. There's his inner circle knights, his great swordsman with, I think, his BSB and a warrior priest installed. Behind them is the celestial hurricanum. And his left flank, there's a big old brick of 50 halberdiers with a warrior priest, the battle wizard, and his general installed. Next to them, kind of jumbled up because the hill isn't user friendly, is 14 crossbowmen, and behind them are a cannon and a volley gun. Here's my right flank, which consists of Saval. He's going to. My plan here was to just fire at his war machines with his spell since he got Bolt of Change and the Firestorm or something like that. My plan was just dive into the forest and use it for cover while I try to blast his war machines off the face of the planet. Here's my center from right to left. There's my warriors with Berserk, my dogs, my Zinch Chariot, and my knights with Catalyst, my BSB. And my left flank, which consists of my Crushers, my Beast, and my Demon Prince. Here's top of turn 1. As you can see, I got to go first, which is fantastic. Saval dives into the forest and passes his dangerous terrain check. The dogs run up to give them something to shoot, charge, or destroy. The warriors move up as fast as their little stubby legs can move them, as well as the chariot, the knights, the beast, the demon prince, and the crushers. Everything's running forward because with his war machines and his magic, he doesn't have to come to me. During my magic phase, I get Bolt of Change off on his volley gun. I didn't realize it had 3 wounds. I do 2 to it. I got all excited right up until I saw that it had 3 wounds. That sucks. So I do 2 wounds to it, and it passes its toughness check and gets a 6-up regen because I'm a decent person. I end up miscasting 9 on the chart, which pretty much ends my magic phase, but he rolls a 2 to wound Saval, which is awesome because it's only strength 6 hit. He rolls a 2 to wound Saval, so it doesn't, and he rolls a 1 to wound the Demon Prince, so no real damage is done, so it was a fair trade. So we go to bottom 1 after movement, and like I said, he really doesn't have to move to face me. His inner circle knights did try to charge my knights and failed, and they only ended up moving up like 2 inches, so it was an epifail. Other than that, nothing moves, and he gets ready to shoot and magic me. There's a better picture of his inner circle knights failing to do what they needed to do. During his magic phase, he gets Malakos Mystifying Miasma off of my warriors, which I was fine with because I had no intention of getting into combat. However, he throws Pit of Shades, the big one, at him, and thank God it scatters off of them and lands right where you see it. So, whew, missed me. During his shooting phase, the 14 crossbow guys take careful aim at the dogs and put them down for good. And then the Hellblaster volley gun opens up all of its barrels into Saval. 24 shots, needing 5s to hit me, and it does. It hits me spectacularly. Yeah, Saval ends up getting killed. He does about 8 wounds, 7 or 8 wounds, and 3 slip through, exactly 3 slip through, and he dies. Sucks. But his cannon, he does try to shoot at my chariot, I believe, and he ends up misfiring 6, so it just can't shoot this turn. So we go to top of 2 after movement, and not wanting to waste any time because Saval's dead and he's throwing Pit of Shades around like it's going out of style, I charge into the swordsman with my Demon Prince. And the idea here was get a hold of his BSB and crush him. If he refuses the challenge, I'm going to put his BSB to the back so he doesn't get a reroll and possibly break him, because they're Empire. How hard could it be? Meanwhile, the beast runs up, daring the inner circle knights to charge him because he's in the forest, and I think that would be funny. The skull crushers did, I believe, try to charge the inner circle knights in the flank and failed. And I believe my knights tried to charge the swordsman as well and also failed. So that kind of sucks. There's been a picture of Tremendous going into the Great Swordsman. Really, I was just curious to see what I could do. I had a plan, but at the same time, I like when I haven't played an army in a while, I like to throw my stuff in there to just see how they'll fare. My Skull Crushers, they could have been somebody. Hitting that flank of those Inner Circle Knights would have been glorious, but they failed their charge spectacularly, and I think they needed an 8 and I rolled a 5, so it is what it is. Over here, yeah, my Knights tried to charge the Great Swordsman and failed, and I think the Beast tried to charge Inner Circle Knights and failed, if I remember correctly. Something along those lines happened, but I failed a lot of charges here. During the magic phase, I get Plague of Rust off on his Inner Circle Knights just to make them a little bit easier to wound. And we go into combat, and I issue a challenge. I ask him if I issue a challenge, and he declines it. So his BSB goes to the back. We go to town, and I just put all my attacks into his Warrior Priest because I don't want him having hatred against me. He is able to do nothing to me. Look at me, nothing. Without hatred, he missed a ton because he needed 5s to hit me. He needed 4s to wound me or something like that, and he wasn't able to do that either. And the 1 or 2 that he wounded me with, I was able to save. With charge, and I think I did 2 wounds to the Warrior Priest, to his rank and a banner. I win by 1. It might have been more than that. I'm not sure. No, it was more than that because I thunder stomped the unit. So I win by a decent amount, but it doesn't matter because he's steadfast. However, as you can see, I break that unit. He rolls like an 11 or something like that. It was insane. And they break. And I pursued with all the spite in my heart and ran those bastards down. So the Great Swordsmen, after 1 round of combat, are dead. And as far as I'm concerned, that was a fair trade, first of all. So the Hurricanum, the Halberdiers, and Inner Circle Knights all make their panic checks, but the Great Swordsman, a Warrior Priest, and his BSB are DRT, dead right there. And it is awesome when that stuff happens to my opponents. So we go into bottom of 2 after movement, and really not a whole lot. Again, his Inner Circle Knights do charge into the Knights. They finally make it. His Hurricanum and his Halberdiers move up a little bit. The Crossbowman and his War Machine stay put. During his magic phase, he gets Pit of Shades off on my Warriors, and this time he hits. It bounces back behind me a little bit afterwards, but yeah, it slams right onto my melon parts. And needing 6s to fail, 3 of them fail and die. And it is what it is. During the shooting phase, the volley gun fires 21 shots into my warriors. And as you can see, 7 die. Thank God they're frenzied, because just on a guess, I tried making a break check with them and I bombed it. So I'm really glad that they're frenzied and didn't care. His cannon takes careful aim at my chariot once again and fires and misfires yet again. Misfire 4. So, yeah, saving grace right there with that cannon. I think they forgot to take the lid off of it or the cover or something. During combat, my BSB has to issue a challenge. His unit champion accepts and gets pummeled for it, and I get +1 toughness for my trouble, which is always a nice gift. Thank you, Mr. Unit Champion. However, the rest of the combat does not go well because my knights forgot to zip their damn armor up again. It happens a lot with them. He did exactly 4 wounds, and I failed exactly 4 saves. So at strength 5 or 6 or whatever it was. I like to break math because I don't believe that math is a real thing. I think it's just an idea made up by man to torment me. So yeah, 4 of my knights die. I kill 2 of his knights with my attacks. I don't know if I win or lose this combat. I think I lose this combat, to be honest with you. But we end up staying, or he ends up staying, and we go on to the top of 3. And as you can see, my warriors cannot abide by the fact that my knights are crumbling because they don't know how to wear their armor. So they charge into the flank of the Inner Circle Knights. I knew I was going to have to overrun, so I moved my guys in such a way that they could overrun past the knights. I knew that his halberdiers would have a beautiful flank or rear at my warriors, but I also knew that I had the Crown of Command, and I would be stunned if anything in that army could take Berserk off. Anything in the Halberd's army, anyway, could take Berserk off the table. So even if I lost all but Berserk, he wasn't going anywhere, and I would be able to countercharge the Halberdiers in the flank, in the rear, in the front, and that would be glorious. So that's exactly what I set up to do. My Skull Crushers ran around, my Beast moved around, my Demon Prince ran over to try and get a hold of that Hellblaster Volley Gun because it is the devil. And no, I apologize, that's not entirely true. The Beast charged a Hurricanum that tried to stand, failed its terror check, and fled. And it ends up right where you see it. There's a better picture of the Hurricanum fleeing from my Beast. And there's a better picture of my Warriors making a charge. Yay! Nothing happens in Magic, and shooting is for other people, so we go straight into combat, and my Warriors pulverize the remaining Inner Circle Knights. I don't pursue, I overrun. And we'll just leave it at that. Meanwhile, my Knights just kind of reform a little bit so that when the Halberdiers charge in, if my Warriors survive, they can charge the flank or whatever and deal with them that way. So here's bottom of 3 after movement, and it looks a lot like what you would expect. The Hurricanum does not rally and ends up fleeing off the table. His Halberdiers charge into my Warrior's rear, and here's where we see if the gamble pays off. Meanwhile, the cannon moves. Since it can't shoot this turn, it moves so that his volley gun can do some damage to my Demon Prince without giving him a cover save. And his crossbowmen stay still because they figure they can kill my chariot. There's a better picture of his halberdier guys slamming into my warriors. Ignore the pieces that are on their back. They're not dead. It's just they don't rank and file very well. And his magnets suck, so he's got to work on that. During his magic phase, he irresistible forces through Pit of Shades on my Skull Crushers, which I didn't fully understand. I think he made a mistake here because they're initiative 5. I'd have let that go off all day. I really didn't care. So yeah, obviously it goes off. All 3 of them take initiative checks and pass, so no big deal. The miscast, he ends up rolling a 6, which is outstanding. So he takes a miscast 6 for his trouble, and a big old chunk of halberdier dies, which I am fine with. Yeah, he ends up losing 7 or 8 guys, and his magic phase is pretty much over, so we go into combat. Yeah, as you can see, obviously my exalted hero, my unit champion, make way. I think I challenged with my unit champion because I just wasn't feeling that brave, and he ends up my unit champion ends up getting killed. I think he misses all 3 or 4 of his attacks. I can't remember, to be honest with you. No, he's still in the unit. I think he survives. I have no idea. A challenge goes on. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Meanwhile, his halberdiers attack my warriors. They don't do very well at all, and my warriors counterattack and just decimate. 12, 14 models die. The exalted hero targets his warrior priest and beats him down into the ground so he doesn't have hatred. And since it happens at initiative 6, they don't get the hatred, so that's awesome. The warrior priest is destroyed. I leave his general alone. Either my unit champion takes care of his, or my attacks deal with his unit champion. Something happens, and yeah, they end up getting pulverized really, really good. No, that's what happens in the challenge. My unit champion issues a challenge. His battle wizard accepts, and his battle wizard has that identity theft item. He's not able to kill my unit champion, and I'm not able to kill him. No, he kills my unit champion. I know that's confusing as hell, and I apologize. But in the end, I end up winning this combat, I think. Or, no, I'm stubborn 8, and that's fine because I don't break. I turn to face the halberdier unit, and now it's all over but the crying. So, here's top of 4 after movement, and now that my plan has come to fruition, everything moves. The Skull Crushers charge in, the Knights charge in, the Chariot charges in, and much uproarious laughter is heard on my side of the table. Meanwhile, the Demon Prince slams into the cannon, and Emilith runs over to harass the crossbowmen. There's a better picture of tremendous plans working out tremendously. And there's a picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into the cannon, because really he doesn't want to kill him, he just wants to try to help and see what's wrong with the cannon, because he's a giver. During the magic phase, the beast is able to get his spell off on the crossbowmen. They now cause fear. Guess that's cool. And like 2 of them die, something like that. Maybe none, I don't remember. But yeah, I make him cause fear, and not much happens to the unit, so Oops. Oh, combat over here is brutal. I mean, just look at that. Go back and look at the way the brick was before, and then come back. Like 20 halberdiers die, all but like one of my warriors dies. So don't get it twisted. He does some damage back, but between the skull crushers, the chariot, my BSB, and my knight, my BSB ends up in a challenge with his battle wizard. And while I'm not able to kill the battle wizard, he's not able to do anything to my what's it called, to my BSB. But we do a boatload of damage to him, and I think even his general. No, his general doesn't die yet. I'll deal with him soon. But yeah, it is brutal, and he's steadfast and stays, but he's on borrowed time, and that's what it looks like after the combat. Over here, my Demon Prince is able to fix the cannon by folding it into a heart and stuffing it up the ass of his crew. And that seemed to work. So thrilled that the Demon Prince was able to help. He overruns and slams into Hellblaster Volley Gun because he actually, screw all the pretense. I want to smash this thing into its baser elements and use the one remaining crew member as a puppet for the next century. So here's top before after movement, and as you can see, there's been none. The crossbowmen aren't going to do anything, and everything else is deader in combat. During his magic phase, he's able to get, I can't really tell because the picture came out kind of bright, but he gets Occam's Mind Razor off on his Halberdier unit, which sucks. I'm not happy that he got that off because I'm probably going to lose more guys, but at the same time, he's just holding off the inevitable. I strike before all of his stuff. I'm going to do a boatload of wounds to him because I have made way now. I have combat reformed during our last combat to bring the Skull Crushers in, so now all of them are going to attack. These Halberdier guys are falling apart left and right. They're not going to be able to do anything. So shooting doesn't do anything, so we go straight into combat, and the volley gun gets fixed because what I do is Lord Tremendous ends up taking the one remaining crew member, ripping him into 9 pieces, stuffing him into the barrels of the 9 barrels of the volley gun, and then throwing it over the hill. It explodes, and it works. That's great. In fact, it works so well that the crossbowmen flee away to tell everybody about the wonderful mechanic that is Lord Tremendous. And there they are. That's when they end up fleeing, when they break from their panic check. Ha 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 ha. In combat over here, Berserk doesn't have to issue a challenge because my BSB is still in a challenge with his Battle Wizard. So Berserk is now in base to base with his General and puts all 6 of his attacks into the General and kills him so that they can't use his leadership for Occam's Mind Razor. The Skull Crushers, the one remaining knight, and the crew of the chariot kill off a huge amount of the Halberdier unit. However, to their credit, the Halberdier unit that survives is able to do a decent amount of damage to the Skull Crushers. They do 4 wounds to the Skull Crushers, and they did do a couple of wounds to the chariot, but the chariot was able to 6-up ward save both of them, which was remarkable. And that was pretty much it. I think the one guy that was able to attack the knight didn't. So yeah, all in all, it was pretty cool. They end up breaking, and once they break, my opponent calls the game because I was going to catch the Halberdier unit, and all he had left was his crossbowmen that were currently fleeing. So the game is over, and here's what the board looks like at the end of the game. All in all, Empire is still what I remember of them. They're not overly difficult to play against. However, that being said, I do recall the last time I ran into the Empire and got tabled, with the exception of one model left or something like that. So maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. But it was a fun game, and it was neat to play an army I hadn't played in a while. But we'll get to the recap in a moment, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for. Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Uh, Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. So yes, yet another victory for Lord Tremendous. My opponent surrendered after it was basically over anyway. I ended up losing Saval to the Hellblaster volley gun of incredible accuracy and my Warhounds, and those I lost to the crossbowmen, and well, that happens. Ooh, excuse me. Empire guy ended up losing everything. He surrendered. Not that should really be taken out of context. This is, he's just picking up this army. He's used to playing ogres. He's got to find his niche. It's not a bad list. He had some really bad luck. The great weapon swordsman breaking after one round of combat. Although that was outstanding. I was lucky that he declined my challenge, and I was able to put his BSB to the back, because I promise you, had he had the reroll, he wouldn't have broke. That volley gun was on fire. 24 shots at Saval, 21 shots at the Warriors, 20 shots at my Demon Prince. It was insanity. The reason I didn't take a picture of the shots at my Demon Prince is because I was able to armor save all the wounds that he did to me. But still, so many shots from 9 barrels. What the hell are they loading that thing with? Thank Zinch the cannon was misfiring. Both rounds that it got to shoot, it misfired, so that's awesome. I really wish cannons did that more often. It was fun to play the Empire guys for a while. 2 battle ports in a row now. I've had armies that I haven't faced in a while, so that's always cool. I'm sure you guys are enjoying seeing something other than me murdering elves or elves murdering me. Although some of you sick bastards like watching me get my ass kicked by elves too, so just kidding. By all means, root for my opponents. I don't care. But yeah, it was. He's still a great opponent. It was a great game, and I'm looking forward to playing more against Empire. He doesn't seem deterred or anything like that from him. I think he knows there's going to be a learning curve, especially coming off of ogres. But still, it was fun. I'm looking forward to this. But yep, guys, that's going to do it for Battle Report number 87. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.